I've been playing one of Factorio's longest mods, Space Exploration plus Krastorio 2, for over 200 hours. We've colonized several planets, optimized intergalactic supply chains, and even built monolithic structures. We're in the endgame now, but with Factorio's biggest update ever, Space Age looming closer every day, our race to the finish before it's released is anything but certain. Will we stick the landing, or will the save file be abandoned and forgotten? Welcome to a race against time and space.
Okay, I have not
seen Sauceman upload
in probably 20 years. Bring your ass.
Part 14, last time we set up Planet H, a thriving habitat for Vitamelange. This time I want to finish the process and get started on the namesake of this mod, space manufacturing. It's been longer than usual since I uploaded. Sometimes big expensive things break, and sometimes work says, hey, you gotta do the things, and sometimes those happen at the same time. But the call of the eye never ceases, and we're back. I woke up one day and just thought about how absolutely batshit this entire idea is in retrospect. Yeah, let's try to complete one of the hardest mods in one of the most technical games while bullshitting with guys on Discord. It's like going to a college bar to do rocket science. Like, yeah, first time I make a series, let's just dive into the deep end of a pool nobody's ever swam in before. It's kind of hard to believe I've made any progress, but at the same time, I went into this with 700 hours of Factorio gaming, and I got Wozz pulling twice his weight in trains, so shout out to him and the boys supporting me on this race to the finish line. Speaking of the finish line, I couldn't find the source for this, but some people have been mentioning October as the planned release date of Space Age, so if this is true, I have an actual timeline to beat now. This episode should be going out in early June, so I have some time, but remember I started in February, so I've basically used half of my time, which is motivating, hopefully. Hopefully I'm halfway done, but I guess I just have to plow ahead and find out. As for the current goals, I want to make the Vitamelange process work well. I made productivity module 3s on this planet with the vulcanite and put them into the furnaces making Vitamelange spice, as they take 200 Vitamelange blooms, spitting out around 40 spices and an occasional extract for each cycle. This makes productivity modules way better than they already are for this process. It's also fairly slow to get them, even with 12 speed beacon greenhouses making blooms, so the speed penalty of productivity mods is not a problem. Although it's tempting to make this process faster, it's also a pain in the ass and unnecessary. Like the other advanced resources, this will be running for many hours, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a full warehouse of spice and extract before I even need it. The bigger problem is actually defending this planet. It's the first foreign colony with biters, and they seem to pop up everywhere and out of nowhere. Coupled with my complete disregard for pollution, they have the opportunity to grow strong. To counteract them, I have made an artillery and military supply train. This is something I've never needed to make, but have always been interested in making. I want to make a few train stops with walls, laser turrets, and a roboport. There will be a fixed amount of supplies at each stop, and the request threshold on the LTN train stop will be set to 1, meaning if there is one item missing, the train will come and drop off supplies. That probably sounds wasteful, but here's why it's set up like this. These military outposts don't export anything, so there's no throughput to consider. The only times that items will be missing is when they need to be repaired or rebuilt. This only happens when an outpost is attacked, and an outpost is only attacked when there are biter nests nearby. So the chain of logic goes: biters build nearby, attack, cause a repair pack to be used, subtract 1 repair pack from the count, the train is sent, and the train has artillery wagons. While it is getting resupplied, nearby biter bases are being shot at, and the train only comes when it is necessary, so it scales well, and I can make tons of stops. Looking forward to the killing. Planet H has the biggest factory of any colony yet, even being split into a solar field and a proper factory, so I started with 10 of these outposts. I was too lazy to full wall both parts of the factory on this planet, but I'm hoping that these military outposts will act as a lightning rod for the bug attacks to focus on. And yes, that is pipe. I ran out of wall, and it's better than nothing. Boy, that's a lot of pollution for a solar field, you're probably thinking. That's because this solar field also burns coal. The only thing left to set up is the cryonite so I can freeze and ship out methane ice. This is the first process that I blueprinted entirely from other builds. The whole process completes in one big line leading back to the factory because my desire for aesthetics has long since died on this planet. And that's methane ice. No, you can't productivity module it, and yes, I'm sad about that. Our slow space-based research has been chugging this whole time, and we're pushing toward rocket survivability 9. This might seem excessive, most rockets are already over 99% chance of landing successfully, but this planet is 6 times farther away, which means the current chance of landing on the pad is only 80%, and a rocket crashing is a major risk for overloading resources in the eye. So survivability research will go a long way toward preventing this planet specifically from crashing. Speaking of, I'm starting to miss space. This factory is great and all, but it smells like cows, and every biter I kill feels like I'm trying to pick up soap in the shower. I've also been here for an extremely long time. Don't get me wrong, I love Factorio, that much should be abundantly clear by now, but after your 6th planet that has a factory that's only slightly different from the other planets, not to mention pushing 230 hours in the save, you start to wish it could all be done with. Everything in space is an exponential pain in the ass, but it's also cool and refreshing to solve problems that are fundamentally more different from what vanilla Factorio gives you. Just a bit more to go here, thankfully. I'm going to have some warehouses to store the vitamelage, spice, and extract just so the process keeps going even if the rocket is full. It's slow and pretty much the only reason I'm here, so I want it running as long as possible. There was a lot more biter killing and defense setting up because this factory is actually quite large, and you'll have to take my word for it. I just feel pain when I watch yet another 25-minute segment of past me driving a jet to biter nest after biter nest. I only have so much sanity. My work here is finally done though. Time to rebuild a thruster suit because I died in that pyramid lull. Bring our profits to space, and finally begin the great space rebuild. Man, it feels good to just be anywhere but on that planet. I love to see the green addition to the rainbow unload too. First things first, I ordered twice as much substrate to be delivered to the moon, so the eye has technically been clogged up since I left, and I've had that feeling of like a rock in your shoe when you know something's wrong but you can't get it out right now. I am so happy to fix this. A commenter also put some pieces together for me. Inserter angle matters for their speed, so you basically want the angle between the pickup and drop-off square in Bob's inserters to create the smallest angle possible while also not making the inserter arm change length, so I decided to update every single inserter on the eye. It was a fun little challenge, and I don't have the numbers for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the sorting happens 4 times faster after these changes. It did take about 45 minutes, but to quadruple the speed in a space-constrained area is well worth it in my eyes. Plus, now the eye really looks like it's having a seizure while it's sorting. Beautiful. Alright, actual space stuff. So Wozz started out with an area for fluid handling just east of the eye. He completed the basics: petroleum, light oil, heavy oil, lube, as well as cosmic water and chemical gel, which I'm very thankful for. Handling these with trains will help a ton. With just pipes, it's a giant tangled mess. There is one complication though. Solids that are needed to make the fluids will be dropped off in one of these warehouses, but not the other. It's a little annoying to check the eye to see if the item will be dropped off in the top or bottom, especially because it's inverted because the train does one flip before it drops off, so Wozz just made both warehouses handle all resources. But Schrodinger's resources can only end up in one warehouse, so as time goes on, I'll be treating warehouses separately. It definitely is a pain point for this design though. It might make more sense to have trains with one wagon that can pick up from one side of the eye at a time and not have to worry about this chirality, but I just like it better this way, so I'm sticking with it. Thermofluid is actually a separate category of space fluid, being either normal, cool, cold, or super cold, but all starting from normal thermofluid, so it's handled on its own over here with future-proofed space for the colder thermofluids to be exported. We also got cyanide slush and sulfuric acid over here. Space is very diverse in its needs. The plan is to rebuild all the science we have made so far and delete the massive science spaghetti we've been using. The one part that will stay is the mall though. There are like 45 space-specific buildings, many of which need to be built in a manufactory for God knows what reason, and a new mall would look like shit anyway, so I'm just gonna keep it and drop shit off nearby and keep expanding it because legacy spaghetti never truly dies. There's a lot of stuff that will be coming to this unload station, and Jesus Christ. Thanks, LTN. That's really helpful and informative of you. I can totally still see my screen. I swear, LTN is just a ticking time bomb until you turn off notifications. We currently have it on 1, which is errors only, and it seems to think the world is ending if a train isn't immediately available for a pickup. That doesn't really seem like an error to me. Things are working fine. My lazy ass just hasn't made enough trains. Stop reminding me. Our train system also needs a loop because of the direction the train stops are going, so through a very roundabout path, the train can go up to the mall, then around this loop and back to the station. Wozz is gonna kill me. Back at home, we have more train problems without Wozz. These take me forever to figure out, and the solutions are always terrible. This is not ideal. Where are you, Wozz? Oh, and apparently, unless you full wall, biters just walk around your defenses like they're robbing a bank. I was so pissed to see this. These stupid worms just slithering around. Aren't you supposed to be stupid? I'm not on the planet anymore, so I just started throwing down laser turrets everywhere from the nearby outposts. I don't care how wasteful it is. I want to dedicate 0 brain cells to this problem, and this solution is already too sophisticated.
What are you up to now?
Back in space, I am making a weapon delivery cannon. So there is a hole in my defense, unfortunately. So there's fighters that will attack a single solar panel at a time forever.
How don't I see it?
I just press U and then search by name.
Yeah, no, I know you can look that up, but it should be on the orbital map thing too.
Another thing that's happening is that like the robot requests are like not like they're like bugging out. They'll be super slow. Not exactly sure if that's a lag thing or because I'm on like 6 surfaces or something.
You know, now that I'm making
it's the same thing.
A lot of them.
Yep.
All right. We got a thruster suit too.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff. We also have power armor 3 finally. I think I found a way to make the train work very close to how we want it to.
Is it not working how we want it to?
Well, it works. It's just getting it to go the speed we want it to. What it'll do is it'll be like, okay, you want 8,000 coal and 8,000 water ice here. Well, if they're in the same warehouse, it'll send a request to the place and it'll say get 8,000 coal and 8,000 water ice because there's 2 wagons on the train, but they're in the same warehouse, so they'll load 4,000 into that one wagon and then the other wagon will be empty. So what I did was I just divided the request in half, which means that the request will always time out, and I just lowered the timeout threshold. But it means that if there's 8 different things that like your place needs and you have thresholds for like 1/4 of a wagon for each resource, it'll actually do that in one trip.
That was a lot of words and my head hurt.
Basically it do the thing.
Right now my brain don't work no good, so I don't know how I'm gonna look at all that.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
All right, Todd Howard, I am so fucking dumb. I thought it was water, not cyanide slush. Fuck.
No, I was doing some testing stuff. It might have just been from when I was playing around with it.
I just got confused. I just added ice processing because I thought it was the right thing.
Oh, Lamau. Oh, they're so stupid, bro. Really? Oh, they didn't fucking... All right, well.
At least they're not really attacking anything.
Well, they're going to once they find military stuff.
I wonder if it's because those don't produce pollution, so they don't aggro on them.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Huh.
It's so stupid too. There's so much military to the top left. I thought they would like focus on that, but instead they're like, no, let's take a super long, unintuitive path.
God, those arms go fast now.
Yeah, it's all about the angle. Get them at the right angle. They do the dangle.
Only unloading 5K and then going back and getting more. Oh, because you added the turnaround, so now it's not guaranteed to be in the right spot. You need to add handling for either car.
But it should take the same route every time, shouldn't it?
Not necessarily.
Well, I don't think we have enough traffic that it would change its route.
No, but if it goes... Okay, so if it starts at the depot, goes around the loop, and then stops. So if it goes to like the lube provider and then does a loop and then goes back into the depot, it's now facing the opposite direction.
It should do the, for every request it could do, it should do the same thing every time it does that for right now, because there's always going to be one fastest path.
But that's what I'm saying, is that I think it's switching direction every time it goes, because it goes every time it does the loop, it changes direction.
We could make these stations so you can come in both ways. Otherwise, certain parts of the track you can't go back to the depot from unless you have a turnaround, like up here.
Should be able to get back from there.
If we take away the turnaround, this will say no path.
How about I just build another intersection next to the depot and then just connect the track up to that? Like, or you could like move the depot farther back and then add a connector, but then that gets really weird because I made it at an angle.
Yeah, we should. I think if we made it flat, like we could just literally move it north.
This saves a shit ton of space doing it at an angle, though. No. Where are you going? Where are you going, you little shit? No, fuck you. Why are you going? Okay, you're going to manual now, dumbass, stupid motherfucker.
Actually, we could just extend the current depots and then just add a rail that curves in the main rail, and then they would be bi-directional. I'll probably do that. That's a lot faster, and it can use the design you already have.
What the fuck is this guy doing? Okay, there we go. Now you're going to get your Cryonite slush. Everything should be good. Why are you not adding Cryonite slush, my dude?
Suffice it to say, trains are complicated. I don't care how much you know about signals. When you end up with this, whatever the right way to place signals is, assuming there is even a legal place to put them, requires a PhD I don't have.
Okay, we are making thermofluid. I repeat, we are making thermofluid. Why are you still going back here? There's nothing for you here. This isn't a provider.
I bet watching me place train tracks is like watching Shaq shoot free throws. Do you think we could get Shaq on here? Get some Factorio? I think it would be a great fit. I bet he's great at Factorio.
Now, why is it fucked? Oh, you didn't have any signals on the backside. That's why. God, please kill me. Oh.
There were nowhere near this number of biters when I left 5 hours ago. You know what? I'm making a thing to nuke them as we speak.
Wait, the plague rocket, or is this something different?
No, this is a weapon delivery cannon. I don't know if it can range it from here, but we'll see. But let's just take a look.
The plague rocket that might not be good to use it.
It's a no-go for that planet because it'll kill the Vitamilage.
Well, yeah, I'm against using the plague rocket for most of the planets anyway.
Oh no, you can choose. It just takes more energy, I'm guessing, to send something.
I mean, how much fucking energy would it, like, how long would it actually take to send a rocket to the neighboring star? Like that's like a fucking like generation ship fucking shit there. I actually just went in cryostasis while you were rocketing over there.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I got there, yeah, it was like 600,000 rocket fuel just to get there, but like, I don't know, if you can finagle the gravity correctly, like you're in zero gravity for most of that, so it's kind of just a matter of speed, I feel like, and also calculating like the trajectory correctly. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe we're too far away to hit there.
They use like 8 million gigajoules to fire it, or what?
No, there's other planets are showing up here, but not for radium.
Yeah, I think it's like everything maybe in the solar system you can hit.
Well, interesting. Well, it's annoying. Ugh, if I have to go back there, whatever.
Yeah. Ugh. Things that make you go. Huh. All right. So we have thermofluid now to make cooled thermo, because we don't use regular thermofluid for anything, right?
Regular, yeah, it just gets cooled, I think. I was also thinking like for the science, we could get a start on making like it's in a while. I should honestly make the science first, but the science labs can get like productivity module 5s or like 6s or whatever the best is. Most things probably don't need them, but like science probably deserves it. And then they can be like surrounding a beacon with like speed module 5s or something.
Sounds good to me. Hey, you want something that's actually goated? Lemon Oreos dipped in lemon ginger tea.
Interesting.
Quite delectable.
I think I can fire at anything in the system I'm in though, because I can hit Calidus Asteroid Belt 2 from here, which I think is the farthest thing.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe if there's like another planet in that system I can go to, I can like both land in orbit, set up a space elevator if we can get there, and then also just like nuke some biters on the Vitamelange planet. Might be a nice way to do that.
Oh, look how fast that material catalog is researching. Okay. I have made a blueprintable node here. We can just copy paste this down and plug it into the duct network and bring in thermal fluid, and we're good.
Hell yeah.
Do we want to fill it with modules, or just want to copy paste it without modules, you think?
Yeah, I mean, do you imagine module 2s?
I'll blueprint it without modules, and we can figure out what we want to put in there.
Speed modules and productivity modules play well together. Because you get to use less productivity modules. Oh my fucking god. Maybe I will go back there, motherfuckers. Oh, great. God damn it. How did what? All right, yep. I'm gonna load. I don't even know if I'm gonna take anything with me. I'm just gonna get in a rocket and fucking put an end to this. I'm so annoyed. I didn't actually go, but I'm telling you, when I was on that planet, the biters were basically sleeping. Now that I'm up here, expanding everywhere. Being stuck in space for dozens of hours and every 5 minutes hearing that noise go off, I was fantasizing about nuclear bombs. And of course, these rails needed to look like this. Perfect. Yep, just to the spec. I know at least one of you commenters are going to cringe looking at this, and you deserve it, honestly. Let's be real. Yes, they're supposed to blink like that. Check the spec. It's Infamani this time, actually.
Wait. Did it not shoot them down again? Fucking Christ. Wait, how are there so many biters here?
Wait, what the what?
This place is just totally hosed now.
When did what? Wait, how the fuck?
Holy shit. Did you get your weapon cannon?
Oh yeah, I can use that. Oh, time to see how the ammo works for it.
I'll go fix up Infamani after we kill everything on it. I don't see any pollution over there though, which is weird. Well, now it has 1% threat.
Since fucking when? What?
I don't know. Maybe because
How?
the biters, if the biters land on it, it increases the threat. I don't know.
But I never maybe I missed it. I don't remember them landing like that. All right. Oh.
How the fuck? Like, that has to be a bug or something, right? How the fuck did those biters get there? The ones that are in the fucking iron smelting line. Ugh. Because unless those cannons were just off, there's no way there should be that many biters.
I'm looking at the delivery cannon.
Oh, now they're just leaving.
What?
The biters are just going back to their nest. What? What the fuck? I mean, I guess I can just bring a jet here and go clear out all the biters. But like, why didn't the...
I'm gonna try and do it from orbit.
But that's gonna aggro them, and then they're gonna come and attack.
Well, you have to... Somebody has to go down there anyway. When you hit them from orbit, they get aggroed?
I think they get aggroed if they get hit by anything.
Well, but like, if they get hit by artillery, they know what they're getting hit by. They go to the source of the artillery. But from this, there is no source.
Well...
I guess we'll find out.
Let me get down there and then aggro them. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what it does.
I can't see anything now.
Yeah, I can turn off all notifications.
I have no idea how this got so many biters in here though.
Yeah, I mean, if a meteor landed and I didn't notice it and then it just like took over. To this day, I still have no idea how Infamani got covered in biters. Every other time a biter meteor hit, we got an instant notification. Also, I'm pretty certain it started at 0% threat. Why is it now 1% threat? We assume it's a bug, but there might be some mechanic we don't know about or we're not thinking of, so I'll just assume that's the case. It was one of the bigger blows to our progress, though, for sure.
What are we doing, fellow little terrorists?
Yo.
We got some terrorists who snuck through the defense perimeter.
Those are freedom fighters. You are the eco-terrorist.
It's actually kind of true.
How dare they not let us pillage their planet's natural wealth?
Listen, you're basically Star Wars, and you're the Empire, and the biters are the rebellion.
Sounds about right.
Got a fucking roach motel over here. Ugh. Oh, half the map almost cleared. It will like clear out the entire map before you get the weapon cannon up and running.
I mean, probably. I have to make explosives, which is super awkward.
Thankfully, this is a small planet.
The construction area for the thruster suit Mark II is 69 by 69.
Nice.
Fucking based. All right. It says payload empty, and I can toggle it to off, on, auto, or artillery.
But do you need to put like a missile in there or something?
I don't know. I got the thing in there. I'm gonna try and just target. So there's this nest just barely south of you. I'm gonna try and see what happens when I click on them.
Is the one just directly south of? Okay. Yep.
Let's see. And
oh, that's a different one, but okay.
that was pretty good.
Well, didn't aggro them.
Yeah, because they didn't know it hit them. That's cool. Okay, well, I can actually help with this a little bit then. It's fucking sick.
You just want to start blowing up the far away ones, or if you can get the nests have like 0 health. They take like 2 missiles to blow up. So if you can get the worms, that'd be fantastic.
Let's see. Yeah, I want to see. I've got like 3 of these things loading up, and I want to see if I can set all of them at the same time because they load kind of slowly.
I think this is the last nest. So
okay.
Still says 1% threat.
Interesting. It says this is as low as threat can get here, which is strange. Well, we have the boom if we need it in the future. You will be awarded the Medal of Honor for your bravery, good sir. Oh, you know what we can do? We can bomb that train on Avorion. It'll probably give us even more error shit. But should we do that?
I think you have to now.
We might have to.
Oh, found more biters.
It's supposed to be that you can confirm hostile dead. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, what the hell? If you click on Infamani in the Universe Explorer, bottom right, there's a confirm hostile extinction. And for other planets, like if you go to Morrigan, no hostile threat detected. But back on Infamani, this is as low as threat can get here. Like, what? Why? I'm sure some guy on Reddit will fill us in.
Your catboy army.
Yeah.
Safety and ignorance. That's the work of a true eco-terrorist right there.
They still chose violence.
Very sad news. The trains can't come into a station backward. Makes me very sad.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of interesting. For stations that request a lot of different things, the train really like chunks out what it's going to bring into a lot of different deliveries. All right, the moment at least I've been waiting for. Space science at scale. It'll take a while and literal tons of scaffolding, but the plan is to drop off resources at stops along these vertical rail segments. The first step is to make a nice design for these curved stops. There will be 4 vertical rail segments because there are 4 branches of science: astronomics, energy, materials, and biological. 4 rail verticals actually split the space into 5 parts if you count the outsides, and the middle part will be used for the space production, utility, and optimization sciences. Those 4 are similar in needing machine learning data and just a bunch of other stuff to make, while the other 4 have longer and more complicated steps. All these sciences need blank data cards, and a lot also need thermofluids, so I'm hoping to handle both of these in the middle area as well, and have a central hub for blank data cards and fluids. I like this because then all the trains can focus on delivering raw materials, while data cards, which can be used, broken, and need to get refurbished and recycled, and have all these steps, can just be handled with belts in the middle. Most space sciences also need fluids, so I wanted to make these stops hybrids, capable of handling fluids and solids. The eye loading problem I mentioned earlier happens because LTN expects resources to be loaded into all train wagons when stopped, but resources will only ever be loaded into one wagon. For example, coal will only ever be loaded into the bottom wagon, never the top. This becomes an issue with hybrid deliveries. Imagine we want 2 resources and both are loaded into the bottom wagon. LTN will request one train car full of each resource, but we can only fit half of a train car of each into one wagon. Remember that overfilling is a problem because inserters will hold onto resources that don't fit into the wagon, and these will end up in the next train car whether that delivery wants them or not. The solution I came up with is to divide the request amount by the unique number of resources being requested, but separately for the top and bottom wagon. This way, if we need 2 resources in the first wagon and 1 resource in the second resource won't get unnecessarily cut in half, as it will correctly fit into the wagon, while the top 2 will be divided in half and fit into the top wagon. Admittedly, this solution isn't perfect. If the request amount already fits into the wagon, then it's being cut in half for no reason. Also, this means that any hybrid deliveries with wagons carrying multiple unique resources will never fulfill their request amount at the load station and sit there waiting for the timeout, wasting load and unload time. But I spent a very long time looking for a perfect solution to this in the limited space I have to place combinators, and I'm happy enough with this. These trains are fast and our production will not need perfectly optimized deliveries. Plus, I really need to start choosing my battles here. I want to finish this mod someday after all. As promised, here are the decontamination facilities for the blank data cards. Honestly, super excited to just get started on this monstrosity. What I love about our setup is I can just request copper plates, rough data substrate, and chemical gel, configure the pumps for chemical gel, and feed everything into the facilities. The supply of resources and train throughput and all that are separate issues. Here, I can just focus on manufacturing as a completely separate endeavor. We've seen data cards before, so I'm going to skip to the end product like a baking show. Not that exciting, but production is more than quadrupled from what we had before with the beacons, so maybe it is kind of exciting. Right next door, I'm going to make machine learning data, which needs these cards and some cool thermofluid. Surprisingly, this is almost exactly what I pictured in my head. I'm glad something fits the specs. Why are these... What? Why? Why are you... What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you go to Depot 1? Depot 2 is open every fucking thing. Like, it's open. Ugh, I need an adult. On the bright side, it happened again. The double unload, baby. Bro, what in the actual fuck? Where? Am I proud of yelling at fake aliens on my computer screen alone? No, but this is the authentic experience. What? Why? What the what? What are you? You have a fucking path. Look. All right, seriously, if you're having train problems, talking to the train doesn't work. Next on the list is data card recycling, which will feed right back into the blank data cards. Recycling sometimes produces broken data cards, which need to be broken down into scrap, so I'll do that right next door as well. The nice part about this is that I can reuse the same thermofluid intake and output pipes that the machine learning data use. I could have made this closer to the data card manufacturing, but the name of the game is space. I want every part here to be expandable because space needs space. There are a few options you have for thermofluid. Essentially, the faster you cool it, the more you waste. Our solution was to cool it as slowly as possible to maintain resource efficiency and just paste some more of this blueprint if we need more cool thermofluid. Because that's the kind of people we are, big and efficient. In any case, we can now export cool thermofluid, and it also has lube because our swanky fluid system allows for multi-fluid drifting. Except we don't want lube here. Yeah, LTN can work with multiple fluids, you just have to be really careful or a train will fly around with random fluids forever. Anyway, we've eaten all our recycled vegetables and it's time to move on to dessert, the basic space sciences. I'm going to handle all of their solids from a single drop-off point, which is absolutely ridiculous because they want like 20 different resources across all of them, but you gotta do what you gotta do. One of the sciences also needs plasma stream, which is made from chemical gel, and Wozz's decision to isolate fluids was fantastic. Most of them require another fluid to make anyway, so it works extremely well. Machine learning data is needed for all of these sciences, so it will split across horizontally. Then I realized the literal tons of scaffolding I was using was being made too slowly, fed by bots, and decided to insert or feed it out of the mall directly to speed up its production. It really made me respect how much low density structure we've been manufacturing. Space belts got the same treatment, and space science requires space belts anyway, so I made a pickup stop in this little nook by the mall to deliver them directly to the space science. So,
Made soup.
base,
Is good.
base.
What? 7, 8,
2, 7, 7, 4, 7.
7, 7, 7.
No, 4, 7, 7, 7, 7.
4, 7.
Yes.
7.
7, 7.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. You're telling me
6.
what?
Yeah.
Fucking 6, 7,
Fucking
7,
7.
7.
No, 4, 4.
But
7.
4.
Yeah.
3,
1.
7.
7, 1, 3, 1.
Right. 3, 52. Right. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't watch NASCAR.
Sure.
That's true.
Wait.
4, 2,
Oh.
4,
7, 4, 2,
7, 7, 7,
What?
90,
90.
1, 1, 1, 6,
20,
3,
3, 1, 3, 1,
7.
7.
Well, 7.
7, 4. While you were being hypnotized by numbers, I rebuilt the 4 sciences
Yeah.
from 1 train drop off, and it looks like this.
Not,
Stunning, horrifying, inspiring, confusing.
Plans for the long weekend?
Yeah, it's man, these sciences are gonna take a while to set up, but I already have rebuilt the early 4 space sciences. Now there's 4 more like entire branches of space science that are each maybe like half as complicated as this, like the 4 that came before it. There's 4 tiers of those 4, so it's also each.
I got totally burnt out. I'll be real.
Yeah, it do that. You haven't had a chance to play this while I'm not here, which means that every single thing you've done has had to be in the context while I'm sitting here, which is a negative thing, because if I'd like have a protest about anything that you're building, like you can't just ignore that.
Yeah.
But I have that luxury, so like it is like substantially different, the amount of focus you can get as a result of having it that way. I feel like the increase to focus is like pretty good, but also having 2 people is like double.
One thing I would like to try at some point in the far future is doing like trying to get an actual mega base with LTN.
So for now, Wozz is taking a break, which is extremely understandable. There's so many things being balanced here, and the multiplayer perspective is super cool in a lot of ways, something I've really never experienced before. But I also feel like I need about 40 more IQ points to do multiplayer effectively. It takes me about 2 hours minimum to make any of the circuit systems I've made, and to also communicate them and integrate that effectively is very hard. I've been using Wozz's train blueprints for everything, and even then I've been screwing up intersections. If our work had 0 overlap, I think things would work better, but then how would you even do that? We both want to experience new planets and space, not just be stuck in one realm for the whole game. All things considered, we've done an incredible amount, even trading off responsibilities for landing on planets and doing sciences several times. It's almost like completing its own little challenge in and of itself. But the times we have different perspectives take a very long time to settle. And with the massive number of variables every decision has, how could you expect to sync 2 brains up on any given decision? Having experience with this mod would certainly help, but that begs the question, what % of people actually play through the mods more than once? It has to be tiny. So let's take a moment to appreciate what Wozz has given us. Multiple train systems for Navis, LTN, and space, a beautiful electronic component factory, every export from Infamani, the entire wall and defense system on Navis, clearing out Infamani after biters somehow appeared there, all 5 sciences, and the navigation satellite on Navis, Morrigan's plastic and sulfur exporting, and space fluids, as well as the inspiration to rebuild space, which honestly might be the most invaluable of all. He might be back tomorrow, it's not like there's anything stopping that, but if the burnout doesn't fade, then he will be remembered by his long list of critical contributions. To pour one out for the homie, I'm building something that we talked about building from day one, Sushi Science. Another contraption that I've never had a need to build, but with the excessive number of sciences in these mods, it actually seems practical. One belt that goes in a circle will hold a set number of sciences controlled by a belt reader that checks in sciences and inserters placing into labs that check out these sciences. It's fairly simple as far as circuit networks go, but it looks awesome and I'm excited to make it. So far, we have 9 of the 12 sciences we're currently making fed into here, but nothing to research, so it's time to get started on the actual space science branches, starting with astronomics. There's actually an interesting question of whether a science should be close to the middle as thermofluids are handled there, and eventually the cleaning of contaminated scrap making biosludge will be as well. Astronomics and energy science both need thermofluid, but energy science has a part that outputs cool thermofluid instead of normal, which is used in the middle, so I wanted it to take one of the 2 middle slots. The other middle slot should go to biological science, as the biosludge is a key component, leaving astronomics and material science to be on the outsides. This will probably make more sense as we go, just something I had a lot of fun evaluating and deciding on. Wozz set up astronomics originally, so I'll give you the rundown. Make telescope frames, mix them with cool thermofluid to make 3 different types of observations, turn these into data cards and combine them to make a 4th data card, and take all 4 observation cards and run them through what I'll call the space science loop. Combine all 4 with thermofluid into an astronomics catalog, turn the catalogs into insights, turn the insights into significant data, then combine the catalogs, insight, and significant data with a 4th resource, which I'm pretty sure in this case is holmium, and you have Astronomics Science 1. This lost catalog, insight, and significant data step is the same for all 4 sciences, so although it is an annoying and expensive 3 steps, at least it is the same process, only needing a different final resource when the appropriate predecessors are combined. Also, these 3 final steps output data cards and use data cards, which are going to feed back into the middle on a belt to get recycled. Astronomics is on the outside, so when I get to energy, which will be 1 vertical toward the middle away, it can use the same garbage belt, which I find very satisfying. And there it is, Astronomics 1, part 1 of 1 vertical down. And it's easy to integrate into the sushi, which I've vamped up a little bit. I filled out each of the 8 labs with 6 productivity module 4s, and they are surrounding a beacon filled with speed module 4s. All the top-notch gear will be going toward the science from now on. Bro, why aren't you turning in? Didn't you get the spec? I started noticing all the scrap that was piling up, and this is only going to get worse, so I scratched the itch and set up recycling. I really like recycling. The scrap has a chance to give back iron, copper, stone, rare metals, and heavy oil, which will lower the amount of rocket launches needed. I'm just going to smelt these and throw them into a train stop and add priority to that train stop, meaning that it will be picked up first if the request needs any of the resources it has. It will get a little weird because I'm slowly transitioning to sending only ingots through rockets instead of plates, and if everything is requesting ingots, then these plates are just going to start piling up, but that's a future me problem. Now on to energy science. I placed the part that outputs cool thermofluid on the inside for easy piping, leaving 3 more intermediate data cards to align vertically with. I'm going to need particle stream made in a particle accelerator because this mod didn't have enough buildings. It needs plasma stream and rare metals, which will be created right next to the plasma stream. Thank Wozz for all this extra space. These electromagnetic facilities will be making conductivity data. They also output thermofluid, so it was natural to put them second from the inside where all the used thermofluid gets connected. 4 more electromagnetic facilities will make electromagnetic field data, and I just realized I called it particle stream when it's actually ion stream. How dare I? I just want to note these have 3 fluid inputs and a fluid output, so the piping had to be hairy. It just had to, okay? Why are you red? Why the fuck are you fucking red? What's... Why? Why? What are you fucking waiting for? God, fuck off. How is this blocked? It's not. You fucking clearly are not blocked. What is red about this? What the fuck? Why? It's not red. It's... Watching this back was actually kind of funny. I don't want to hear it from you train dorks out there. Fuck train signals and fuck you. And yes, I did figure it out, okay? I have the capabilities. I promise. Also, it turns out when you speed module, everything your power usage goes through the roof, so I built out more space to place my advanced solar panels. I can't wait until we have flat ones, though. Navis is running out of coal mines to supply space, but luckily we have around 20 oil fields which don't run out, and heavy oil can be filtered into coal, so I can actually make an infinite supply of coal here, which I'm incredibly happy about. I really didn't want to look for a coal planet or something like that. Multispectral mirrors require lube and chemical gel, which I didn't feel like pushing around, so instead I dropped off the low density structure glass and iridium plates near the fluids and made it there. They output 5 scrap each, which is an absolute ton. I thought about moving the recycling facilities closer, but I found it easier to just belt the scrap across the fluids to get it where it needs to go. I wonder if anybody has ever planned this out perfectly with minimum distance in mind between inputs and outputs for all of the processes in space. I feel like that would take decades. In any case, multispectral mirrors are now exportable, and we can move on to the last energy science card, radiation data. The mod creator threw us a bone here, only requiring uranium-235 and even refunding it 50% of the time, so it naturally was thrown as far from the precious middle space as possible. And with that, we can assemble the quadrifecta of energy science cards and throw them through the space science loop: catalogs, insights, significant data, and finally, energy science 1. Low density structure now dried up in space, so I shifted to using steel ingots instead of steel plates on Navis. I have about 2 warehouses full of ingots. It is so efficient to produce, and the core miner is backed up on pyroflux, so if anything, these steel ingots are a waste product. I am not complaining. Speaking of the core miner, that baby is still chugging strong. I hope there is a stat at the end for core mined resources. This thing has been insane. I bet it's far into the millions, not to mention the fluids that it's provided. Anyway, next up in space is biological science. I've been excited to do this one for a while, honestly. We haven't done it yet, and it just looks interesting. Essentially, you make nutrient gel from chemical gel fertilizer and either methane or coal, combine this with glass and iron to make a nutrient vat, then make genetic data from biosludge and lithium chloride of all things, combine the vat and data with more biosludge and vitamelange spice to make a bioculture, and then the bioculture can either make more biosludge than the original mount, creating a positive feedback loop to generate biosludge, or go off and feed the other 3 tech cards. It's pretty interesting, and you start with a chicken and egg problem. How do I make biosludge to begin with? Well, if you brought fish to space, you're in luck. If you brought wood, you're also in luck, just 10 times less efficient luck.
It's all bread all the way down. Oh god. Yes, comrade. I think I need to stop making bread.
No, you need to make more bread.
Piles of bread.
To help with the low density structure shortage, I started breaking down the space capsules from all the rocket launches that land in space. They give back 90 low density structure, heat shielding, rocket control units, but also solar panels and accumulators. I felt very good about finding this. I generally have way too many space capsules and not enough low density structures. The problem is I don't really need the regular solar panels or accumulators, so hopefully there's a way to break these down again in the future.
I'm dying.
Let's finish up the biological science before I get distracted again. The other 3 data cards each need the bioculture, and some want vitamilage or fertilizer or other stuff that smells like shit, and then I can put the 4 through the science loop. I'm just happy that none of the 4 biological data cards need thermofluid. It's used in a majority of the astronomics and energy cards, and building the intake and output pipes is very menial. Additionally, I don't need to make significant data this time. It turns out that you can combine disciplines to make 50% more significant data than usual, so I'm making astro-energistic significant data and bringing it over here. Three down, just material science to go, but we've hit a snag. We're out of rough data substrate and glass because the only thing supplying stone to Navis currently is the core miner, which just is not fast enough. How do you fix a deficit? Well, there is a 5.7 million stone mine on Navis, which might just be the last stone mine I ever set up. Problem is, it's on the outskirts of the map, which means I gotta go back. Fortunately, I can make the trip with just a space capsule, and yes, I was smart enough to not recycle all of the space capsules up here. Man, I miss this feeling, sitting in a jet, thousands of bots. You spend enough time in space mixing 100 different solids and fluids together, and you start to relish the simple times, just mining fucking rocks, sitting there, and you're staring at the diesel miners just like, yep. First thing, I want to clear some finished miners out and take their productivity modules. Some folk were wondering why I spaced the miners out as much as I did, and it was because the miners have a large mining area and I wanted to save on productivity modules and didn't really need a ton of ore per second, so having them spaced out made the most sense. The stone mine is all the way over here, but thankfully...
I'm fast.
Yeah. I forgot I even had this one in the blueprints. I used to use it like all the time.
German science is the greatest science in the world.
Yeah, anyway, it's a stone mine. What do you want me to say?
Steely Dan.
Could you turn up your noise cancellation to 0 dB?
We're still getting some noise from your mic. Did I already ask how the factory was?
Biological science.
Oh.
I don't know how much more shit there is to go from level 1 to 4. Like, I looked at the recipes and I was like, okay, well, this isn't that crazy. Funnily enough, the thing that I'm low on right now is stone, of all things. Yeah, the flowchart for stone is like absolutely insane. I think there's 5 different things that it becomes that just take stone. There's stone bricks, tablets. You can make sand. Sand you can turn into quartz, which you can turn into silicon. You can also turn sand into glass. I think that's actually 7 just from stone.
You gotta just find a rock planet.
Yeah, they're out there. Also, in biological, there's a research that increases base productivity from labs.
Ooh.
I decided to revamp our glass factory to using Pyroflex recipe and add more productivity modules because the stone making sand is the bottleneck and we're still backed up on Pyroflex. That's how much core mining we've done. You know that Oh By Jolly have a Holly Jolly Christmas song?
Yeah.
It's like playing in my head on repeat and I am confused.
Well, thanks. Now it's playing in mine too, you fucking asshole.
Is it better if you had a different song?
Yes, most other songs.
But it was all yellow.
Actually, I want that, but it's like the sped up Celtic clogging remix.
Sit down, drink Penny Royal. Hey, I'm on a plane. Yeah.
I'm Kurt Cobain.
I'm on cocaine. Yeah. Think I'm just happy. Do you look at your Discord at all?
I do less and less though as time goes on.
It's kind of like having an ant colony almost.
Yeah, I as the empty god am going to appear just randomly and just absolutely flame somebody or something and then never say anything again.
Some person came in there and was just like, oh yeah, somebody in there is wondering where your next upload was.
I haven't even fucking started. It's faster when there isn't dialogue.
So I just need to not be there to talk.
Yeah, you're fucking everything up, so you shut the fuck up.
That's why I'm not playing Factorio with you, so you increase your upload schedule. I burnt myself out so you could work hard.
Problem is, anybody can play Factorio and talk about it. Not too many people can play Factorio with friends.
When there's other people talking and you have to focus on the most complicated mod of the most complicated game ever made. Do it for the fans. Yeah, YouTube wants me to optimize my watch time, so I did the opposite and said skip this. Yeah, I saw a few comments saying that it's been a while since I uploaded, so the save file must now be a shame on my hard drive forever. Well, your comment is a mark of shame on my video forever, but you didn't think about that one, huh, buddy? In all seriousness, just check the end time in this thumbnail and compare it to the last thumbnail. The rate of compression I've achieved started at 4 hours for 1 hour of content in part 1 to 40 hours in this one. It just takes a bit of time to cook, and I appreciate all the noise everyone's making. It's been a fun time. Anyway, I lied to you again. There's 2 stone mines. This bigger one I just set up is at the edge, which requires some military protection, so let's celebrate this one together. I hope the biters on Horror Tomb are taking note, because one day, this is what they're gonna have to deal with. Mark my words. So, we're back. The stone's mining, and I plan to tackle material science and beyond next time.